back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to talk about the 2023 SEC football win totals that came out yesterday. I seen this yesterday already. I wasn't going to make a video about it, but my buddy, a Georgia Bulldog fan, Shane Pate, harassing me on this, talking about this. They picked to win the most games out of everybody in the SEC. All fine and dandy. But my Alabama Crimson Tide coming for you, okay? Just to let you know, Shane Pate, all right? You and your boy Kirby, y'all got somebody on y'all damn heels. You can believe it. That's my Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban. But anyway, Georgia, they picked to win 11.5 games this season, basically 12 games, picked to go undefeated in the regular season. And I don't see nobody on their schedule that'll stop them. I mean, they should be picked to win the most games in the SEC considering their 2023 schedule. I mean, it's ranked last in the SEC, so why shouldn't they be picked to win the most games? It makes sense. I think the two toughest games on Georgia's schedule will be Game 3 against South Carolina, and then later on in the schedule, they got Tennessee. I think that'll be their two toughest games. I think South Carolina will play them tough. I think Tennessee will play them tough. But ultimately, in the end, I think Georgia will beat them both. And I also think if Georgia cannot navigate this schedule without a loss, they got some problems because the schedule is just too easy. So, anyway, Georgia, 11.5, picked to win 11.5 games. All right. Next, my Alabama Crimson Tide. I believe they picked to win. Yep, they picked to win 10.5 games. So 10.5 games for my Alabama Crimson Tide. And I have no doubt that they can do that. We got a lot of people hating on us, saying we got a lot of issues, talking about our quarterback situation, but that's all fine and dandy. I have no doubt that my Crimson Tide will win 10.5 games. Yep. We got Texas game 2. Texas gave us a run for our money last season. Only won by a point. A lot of people, including me, say we should have lost, which I still believe that because of that safety. That wasn't a safety. But guess what? When the clock hit 0 and my Alabama Crimson Tide got more points on the board than the opponent, then hey, it's a win, no matter if it's a missed call or not. My Alabama Crimson Tide beat the Texas Longhorns, and they're gonna do it again this season. But anyway, Tennessee, they gotta come to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I feel sorry for you this time, Tennessee. Well, no, I don't. But anyway, you got to come to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Everybody, a lot of guys are picking LSU to win the West. They won it last year. They beat my Alabama Crimson Tide. Brian Kelly running this mile still. But that's all fine and dandy. We'll take care of them. But anyway, it shouldn't come to anybody as a surprise that my Alabama is expected to win more than 10 games in 2023. I mean, we do it every season. So it's expected. It's the norm for my Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay? It is what it is. But up next, Tennessee Volunteers picked to win 9.5 games. Okay? I feel like they can do that. Josh Heupel got these guys well improved. I feel like they can do that. They lost some guys, Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, and Jalen Hyatt off the offense. But mind you, Georgia and Alabama lost their quarterbacks too. Okay, so Tennessee working, but I think Tennessee quarterback situation is better than Georgia's and Alabama right now. Okay, so Tennessee, they really ain't got a quarterback battle. I know they got this freshman, Nico, but they also got the guy with the cannon. So it is what it is. He's going to be their starter. No doubt about it. But Tennessee, their toughest 2 games, Alabama on October the 21st and Georgia November the 18th. I don't think they'll win either of those games. Tennessee fans got a lot of confidence. Josh Heupel got a lot of confidence, but I don't think they can beat Alabama 2 years in a row, and I don't think they can beat Georgia, even though Georgia is going to Neyland Stadium. I just don't believe it. Somehow, Tennessee seems to have their own refs, because the same refs when we played at Alabama in Neyland Stadium, the same refs when they went down to Sanford Stadium in Athens and played Georgia. Now, I'll tell you, Georgia, if y'all get them same refs in Neyland Stadium, you might have a damn issue. But hey, it is what it is. I still don't think Tennessee will be able to beat you. So, like I say, Tennessee's toughest games, Alabama, Georgia. I think South Carolina going to give them a run. All right, South Carolina got to go to Neyland Stadium also. So, but we'll see. But Tennessee is expected to win 9.5 games, right along with the LSU Tigers, who's also picked to win 9.5 games. All right, LSU got one in on us last season, but guess what? LSU got to come to Bryant-Denny Stadium this season, and you know Brian Kelly, he liked to talk, he liked to run his mouth. Just the other day, he talking about he loved beating Alabama. Well, you got to come to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We'll see if you can do it there. I doubt it. I think the last team to beat Alabama 2 years in a row was Ole Miss, and that was because both games Alabama was off, mistakes, penalties, everything else. So it's all good. So we'll see how it rolled in Bryant-Denny Stadium for you LSU Tigers. It ain't going to go into overtime in 2023. We just going to simply beat your ass and shut Brian Kelly up. Plain and simple. But LSU picked to win 9.5 games. And I think their toughest games will be who? The opening game. Florida State will be a tough game. Florida State is much improved. So Florida State will be a tough game for LSU game 1, just like it was last season. Matter of fact, Florida State beat y'all last season. Then Alabama will be tough for you. I think Texas A&M, the last game, that's going to be kind of rough for y'all too. But the thing is, the first 4 out of the first 5 games for LSU could give them some issues. And that's Florida State, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Ole Miss. They got Grambling in between them. It's game 2. I don't think Grambling will give them any issues. All right. LSU, 9.5 games. You got Ole Miss, 7.5 games. I tell you what. I think Ole Miss, if Lane Kiffin stopped making these stupid decisions, going for it on 4th down all the time, they could win more games than what they do. But they got to pick to win 7.5 games. Looking at their schedule, I think they can do it. They got ULM, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Mercer, Tulane. Now, Tulane, that's a good team. But I think they can win 7.5 games, even though they got Pete Golden. I'm going to say 7 games. They got Pete Golden running the defense. So, we'll see. Ole Miss definitely, they will not beat Alabama. They will not beat Georgia. I don't think they'll beat LSU. So, that's 3 losses already. So, it is what it is. LSU picked to win 7.5 games. Not LSU, but Ole Miss. Arkansas, 7.5 games as well. Arkansas, they up and down. I mean, like they'll come out the blocks. You know, September, fired up, go 4-0, maybe go 5-0 first week of October. But then it always seems to go downhill from them. I don't know why. I don't know what's been going on with Sam Pittman. Now the good thing about it, KJ Jefferson came back, so that's a plus for them. They did lose some people, but hey, I think Arkansas got a good team. 7.5 games or 7 games is about right for them. That's most I'm gonna give them. They won't beat Alabama. It just ain't gonna happen. So it is what it is. We'll see for y'all Arkansas Razorbacks. Texas A&M Aggies also picked to win 7.5 games. Now, far as Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher went out and got him a offensive coordinator, which I think that was the best thing for him to do. But Texas A&M, they also got Alabama on the schedule. We know the past 2 seasons, this has been a tough game for Alabama. But I don't think they'll beat Alabama this time. They got to come to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Daggone Jimbo, you know he'll be talking and chirping, but it's all good. We're going to take care of him too. What else going on with Texas A&M? They lost some guys off that #1 recruiting class they had, but I don't think it was a big deal because they didn't contribute last season or whenever. Now, I do think Texas A&M will be a well-improved team from last season. If they don't, I don't know what Texas A&M going to do with Jimbo. But anyway, they picked to win 7.5 games. I think the toughest games is Alabama, LSU. Oh, man. They might have some issues with they might have some issues with Arkansas. Arkansas should have beat them last season. Miami might get them. They squeaked by Miami 17-9 last season. Miami might get them. Miami should have got them last season. Okay, Mississippi State, they might have some issues with them. I think they lost to Florida last season, Texas A&M. I think Florida will come back and get them. I think they'll get Florida this time. I think Texas A&M will beat Florida. I don't know how Texas A&M lost to Auburn last year. I mean, Jesus. But Texas A&M going to beat the brakes out of Auburn this season. Okay, game 2, they got Appalachian State. They lost to Appalachian last season. I think they'll beat Appalachian this season. I hope they do for the sake of the SEC. But anyway, Texas A&M is picked to win 7.5 games. South Carolina, 6.5. South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi State, and Auburn is picked to win 6.5 games. I don't know, man. I don't know. South Carolina, I think they'll win more than 6 games. I do. South Carolina got a good team. The head coach, like I say, Shane Beamer, he instilled a lot of confidence in these guys, and he motivates his guys. All right. I think game 1 against North Carolina, I think they can beat them. Now, game 3 against the Georgia Bulldogs, that's a whole different story. Like I said, I think they're going to play Georgia hard. But I don't think they can beat them. If they beat Georgia, it's going to surprise the whole entire college football world. You can believe that. And they will be riding on the highest horse they probably ever rode on. You can believe that. And you won't never be able to shut Shane Beamer up then. He won't never stop smiling. But anyway, I don't expect them to win. Tennessee. They did a number on Tennessee last season. Put up 63 on Tennessee. A damn 60-piece, 3 biscuits and no dipping sauce. Tennessee want their revenge in this game. And I'm sure Tennessee got this shit marked on the calendar. Now, South Carolina got to go into Neyland Stadium. So, hey, it is what it is, South Carolina. I hope you can pull it off. That way, I can get a laugh and continue to rag on Tennessee. But anyway, I think South Carolina can win more than 6.5 games. Come on, man. Give them some credit, man. Then Kentucky, they up and down. You never can, predict what Kentucky gonna do. Some seasons they look good. They can get 9 wins. But I mean, I have no confidence in Kentucky. I ain't gonna even talk about them. Mississippi State, they got a new head coach who was the interim head coach who took over after Mike Leach passed away. But Mississippi State, the new head coach, they changing the whole offense, the whole way they doing things. It's not going to be the air raid no more. I think you're going to see more of the type of Mississippi State Bulldogs that Dan the Man Mullen ran when he was at Mississippi State. So we'll see about that. But I think Mississippi State can win more than 6.5 games. Auburn, I know they got them a damn transfer quarterback the other day, probably was yesterday. They got him a transfer quarterback from from Michigan State. He is a 3-year starter, but I don't even think he can change that shit around because it's a mess over there. Auburn Tigers winning 6.5 games. I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. I know they got Hugh Freeze. Okay, I'm going to give them 6 games. Yeah, it's simply because of Hugh Freeze, but still, Hugh Freeze ain't no damn body important. So it is what it is for them Auburn Tigers. Florida Gator 5.5 wins. I ain't going to even get on the Florida Gators. Florida Gator and Billy Napier, all I got to say, you better improve this year. Because if you don't, Billy Napier, you in trouble. Vanderbilt Commodores, 3.5 games. I think Vanderbilt going to win more than 3 games. Come on, man. Give Vandy some credit, man. I ain't even pulled up their schedule, but I think they can win more than 3 games. Man, let me look at Vandy's schedule right quick. I think they can win more than 3 games. And that's fact. But we'll see. We gonna see. But Vanderbilt, I mean, man, let me see Vanderbilt's schedule, man. I don't even see it. But anyway, I think they're gonna win more than 3 games. They'll beat Hawaii. They're gonna beat Alabama A&M. I brought it up. They're gonna beat Hawaii. They're gonna beat Alabama A&M. Those 2 are for sure. They're gonna start out 2-0. Oh man, Tennessee, Auburn. Well, they'll beat UNLV, so that's 3 games right there. They'll beat Elon. No. They got Hawaii game 1, Alabama A&M game 2. They'll win those 2 games. They'll beat UNLV. That's game 4. So they'll start out 3-1. Okay, could they beat Florida again? Maybe they beat Florida last season. They probably can beat them again. Can they beat Auburn? Maybe. But that's about all I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna give them for sure 4 wins. I'm gonna give them 4 wins, and that's Hawaii, Alabama A&M, UNLV. I'm gonna say between Missouri and Auburn. Missouri, Auburn, and Florida. They'll get one of those wins. So there you go. I squeezed it out for you, Vanderbilt. But anyway, like I say, it's no surprise that Georgia and Alabama is leading the pack, as they have for the last, I'm gonna say 5-6 seasons for the SEC. Who I think. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got for right now. Well, I got some more, but I'll do that later. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all, and y'all be good and have a great Saturday night and be safe and roll damn tide.